Hi everybody, I want to talk about my fear of gaps. Even in the simulator, when I can get through all those tight gaps, what eventually happens is I go so well and then all of a sudden I bottle out. And in the simulator, it's one thing, but in the real life, I sit there and I go through gaps, I get one, and then I start to lose my confidence, and then I start to get a little scared, and things go horribly wrong. So I've built a little gymnasium that we can use to test ourselves. There are three main areas. There is the Stargates of Sadness, which is going to allow you to go through smaller and smaller holes. There's tight tunnels, which is going to allow you to work on your turns. And then there's the slippery snakes, which is going to allow you to change directions of your turns whilst you're practicing. So this is a gym. There's a couple of links which I'm going to put down in the description, which you can download this, and here we go.
Okay, so let's have a little fly around and see what we have here. So there are three main areas really. There's the tight tunnels, which is exactly what it says. These are a set of reducing in size tunnels, so as your skill improves, it's the same exercise but just slightly more challenging. I certainly am not at a point yet where I can even attempt to do the smallest two, but that's the whole point of it. It's a chance for me just to improve. And then you've got the Stargates of Sadness, and the idea basically here is that as you can see, the rings reduce in size as you get to the end, and then there's this final one. What I would suggest is, when you're doing this, when you start flying in from this side, take a look at the view that you have, right? So if you see here, through the furthest ring, you can see a piece of ground. If you fly and keep that piece of ground in the same position in that final tire, then you will make it through. So again, similar challenge. Once you ace the first one, you can move on to the second one, and when you get really good, you can move on to the third one. So this is really where I would start. I would start here with the Stargates of Sadness, because they look like Stargates, and there's a lot of sadness because these are tires, and if you get caught, you'll fall down in the gully of the tire and you have to restart. The second one I would move to is the tight tunnels. So let me just fly through here and show you what it's like to get through the tight tunnels, if I can manage it. Here we go. So flying through the tight tunnel, you have to be coordinated and consistent in your flight through the tunnels, and obviously you can get faster and faster. So that one seemed to work okay for me. So that's making you turn in one direction. Obviously you want to go in the other direction, you just go in from the other. If you want to go to the right instead of the left, you'll just basically fly through from the other direction. And so it gets more challenging as they go down. The slippery snakes, which is where I would probably end up, is a little bit of a more intense challenge, because what's happening is, as you fly through here, you're having to, you're having to transition from left to right, and obviously that's quite difficult because I keep messing it up. But as you get better at turning, it's going to basically it's going to test you to see if you can turn and do coordinated turns from left to right. And then, if you get really bored with that, I've put a couple of cars here just so you can have a little race around. The other thing that I've done, once you've done all that and you've kind of decided that, okay, well, I'm kind of not getting bad at this now, right? So I've put in here, see, I'm going to really suck at this, I know I am, but I'm going to put in here, a little course, right? So you can, if you're not a complete idiot like me, you can actually fly through the course and get some practice on that, right? So here we go, let's see what we can do here, and through here, sucked at that. So I am not an expert, which is exactly why I ended up building this little training gym for FPV pilots. And you get a time, and so you can race against yourself. So this really is just intended to be a very simple little course for you guys to be able to practice on. My aim with this is that I just want to stop being scared of gaps. I want to be able to do things with confidence. I want to be able to fly through gaps with confidence, not like that. and this is a place, if I'm going to spend some time and just hone my skill as opposed to just randomly flying in free flight around some bando that is on the simulator, then this is going to allow me to improve my skill, get that muscle memory dialed in. If there are any additions to this that people would like to see, just let me know, and I'll put them in. But I'll put a link down in the description. This is on Steam in the community hub. You can download this map exactly like this, and if there are suggestions for further training elements in the gym, then I can put them in, and we can build effectively an FPV training gym. Okay, all right guys, I hope you find this useful, and as always, would love a subscribe and a like. Talk to you later. Bye bye.
Take off.